everybody, and welcome back to the Empire Let's Play series. I am over here in our new village, growing a bunch of dark oaks. We have some materials, done a little bit of cleaning up around here, and I've started leveling things out over here as well. A couple things are going to happen today. One is I finally pulled the trigger and I updated to 1.21.3. So we're going to make us a bundle so we can carry that around with us. And I also want to see if we can make a chunk loader. Apparently, just using a bubble column and an ender pearl, you can make a chunk loader so that a chunk will stay loaded for you even when you wander away. And that potentially could be really useful over by the pumpkin farm, because then when we're over here or somewhere else, the pumpkin farm will still keep making pumpkins. In addition to those things, I also want to work on this village. I want to get it kind of sketched out where all the buildings are going to go, maybe get some of the villagers moved over, and maybe also figure out how the road is going to move through this village. And then if we've got a little bit of time, maybe we'll do some redstone. Now that we have some quartz, I can make a comparator, and I think we might be able to do our iron farm and get that all straightened out so it starts bundling up the iron for us. So I'm just going to finish this up real quick, and then we'll run over to the village, grab some supplies, and see how things go. One other thing while I'm thinking about it, this axe is just about ready to break, and so we might want to grab some emeralds and see if we can trade for another axe from Toolsmith or whoever gave this to us. There's a couple of mods that are pretty important as far as how the game runs. I run sodium and things like that just to increase the frame rate and render distance. And then there's some other mods that are important as far as the viewing experience. So for example, like the replay mod is how I do a lot of my time lapses, and the fresh animations makes all the villagers look a little more interesting. And I was really nervous that those were going to take a while to update. Sometimes the mods can be tricky for the developers to get updated for the new versions, but fortunately, both of them happen pretty quick. The Fresh Animations is actually a resource pack, which they didn't have to update. They just needed to update the mod that makes the animations happen. And then Replay mod also happened pretty quick. So really happy about that. So everything is good to go and working well. And I'm excited to get bundles back. So we need 1 leather and 1 string. Such a better recipe than the old rabbit hide version they came up with originally. There it is. So the bundle, you can put things in it, like a stick or some apples, and then we can see with this little UI that it's just a little bit full. There's actually a bar that shows how full it is, and you can actually see the first, I think, 8 types of items that are in there. If I right-click on it, it'll just kind of pull them back out in order. I think I can also pick up the bundle and scoop things up like that, which is pretty great as well. Okay, do I have an ender pearl? I've got 2 on me, none over here. See, and I know I've got some soul soil, but I wonder if I left it all over the other village. Yeah, I'm also going to grab some bones, just because there's a bunch of dogs running around over there, and I'd like to tame them. You know, I'm going to grab these saddles as well, because there's a bunch of donkeys over there, and we might as well tame them too. Okay, let's grab our horse and run back over to the other village. Okay, let's drop a couple things off here. There we go, soul sand. I'll grab one of those. I'll grab some quartz. And we run back to the other village. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out here to the pumpkin farm. And over here, where the pumpkin farm is, we're just going to dig down probably 5-ish blocks, fill it up with water, put soul sand at the bottom so that we get a bubble column. And then, hypothetically, if we throw an ender pearl into the bubble column, it'll just sit there and kind of bob up and down, and that will keep this area loaded, supposedly. Let's see how it goes. So I'm gonna come over here in the corner. Okay. Seems to be bubbling, which is good. If something falls in there, it just gets pushed around. I think the trick is just to throw straight down and then get out of the way. Yeah, just like that. So that ender pearl is waiting to make contact with something. If it does, I will teleport right back here. But in the meantime, this area should stay loaded. We'll do a little experimentation and see how it goes. As of right now, we have 1 melon and then about 1.5 stacks of melon slices. So if we leave and go back over to the other village, hopefully we'll see some pumpkins in here. Okay, back over to the village. Tap our horse and take a look at what we got going on here. So the road, it's just going to come up the hill, occupy this space right here, and just kind of go straight across. It'll go up a little bit right over here, and then end up meeting up with our bridge way, way over there. So I think somewhere around here is where the corner of the village will be. I have a map that I picked up when we were down in the swamp. Let me see if I have it here. There it is. Snowy village map. What's interesting is if you look, we are in line with the snowy village. It is to the east of us. And we know also that there's probably a spruce village over there as well. So what I'm thinking is the road is going to come up the hill here and continue across to the bridge, but it might turn and go this way as well. I'm thinking that we might just kind of hedge our bets and see, like, is it easier to get, you know, around the mountain that way than to go across and then down that way. So we'll see how it goes. But like I was saying today, let's just get this thing laid out, maybe get some of our villagers secured and moved over. And then we'll have an idea of what this village is going to look like. Just a quick reminder how this is going to go. The road's going to come up here, and right here is where the entrance to the village is going to be. The road will continue across over to our bridge, and then this is going to be kind of the start of the village. And as you can see, it's very much on a slope. We will put stairs and things in here to make this easier to navigate. And I'm thinking everywhere there's a torch, that's going to be a door. So you'll see we kind of come up here, door, come over this way, These buildings will get replaced. This will get terraformed, so we step up and there'll be buildings on both sides. And then we'll turn here and we'll have a building at the end of the street. And then I think a building up some stairs here, kind of overlooking. So when we're down on the ground, it'll feel really imposing, really dramatic, I think. And then the village might creep over in this direction as well. Somewhere in here, there will be a little bit of a town square where we would put the bell and all that so the villagers have somewhere to gather. And I think it's going to be cool. Over here, again, once we tear these all down, this is where we're going to build our house. So it'll be just across from the village. Time for another progress report. Even though, even though it's just cobble, it's still pretty impressive looking. You know, it just sort of walks up the hill, and once the buildings have some height, it's going to look real cool how it sort of winds its way up there. Once again, this is going to be our front gate, and when we walk in, hello cat, you're swimming in the stone somehow. That's real weird. So anyway, we walk in. Again, these torches are going to represent doors. I might move some of them around, but this is the idea. So we'll walk down this road. We'll turn left, head up a little bit to this little intersection. And then you'll see here it continues up, continues down. When we go up, there'll be a couple more buildings. Nice little staircase up to this top building. And if we go this way, it'll step back down. And here we will have a few more houses or buildings that'll sort of approach this sort of edge here overlooking the nice woods and flowers and all of that. And I think it's going to be real cool. It's definitely going to be the biggest village we've built so far. And most of the houses I think are going to have pitched roofs, so no flat roofs. And that means it'll look really tall as well. I think it's going to be really, really cool. But I want to change gears here. I want to do some redstone. So we're going to run back over to Mingus, and I want to build a little contraption to bundle up our iron. So here in the iron farm, way up there is where we're creating the golems, and then they drop down, they get ground down, and then deposited into this barrel, which you can see fills up very quickly. And so what I want to happen here is for us to be able to walk in and just see an array of barrels that are full of iron blocks. I want to create a redstone contraption that will just bundle up the ingots for us. We'll sort out the red flowers, and we'll just have iron blocks. I have an idea of how this is going to go. One thing we're going to use is a crafter block, and then we of course needed comparators. So now that we've gotten quartz, we can make comparators, and that should be pretty smooth sailing. Okay, so, oh yeah, I forgot. They updated what the redstone torch looks like. Very interesting. Really looks like it's It's glowing now. That red is just so bright. How interesting. Okay. Torch, torch, torch. Stone, stone, stone. Quartz. There's our first comparator. Okay, I think it's something like this. Yep, it sure is. And there it is. Our first crafter. That is cool. I've not made one of these in survival yet, and so that's pretty exciting. Pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to need a whole bunch of different redstone components, so I'm going to build those real quick, and then we'll head over there, and I'll kind of explain how it's going to go, and we'll put it all together. Okay, let's move all of this iron out of here. So I think this contraption is going to fit in here really tightly. It's going to be pretty much this high exactly, and then about 6 blocks deep. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this hopper line right here and break it. And then we're going to move it over. So, let's see, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, sort of 4. Okay. So I'm going to put that there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, goodness. There's just so much stuff in here. So now the line comes down like this, moves over in that direction. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to sort the poppies out. So the poppies are all going to end up in this final hopper, and we'll figure out something to do with them at some point. So right here, this hopper, this is where we're going to do our item sorter. So I think right here is where our sorter is going to go. That's right. And so just put a temporary block right there. We're going to point a hopper into that, and then we will break that block. And then the hopper line is going to come back in this direction. So I'm just going to grab a hopper, point it at this guy, and then this guy, right? So everything comes this way. Poppies get sorted out. Iron is going to come down like this. Item sorter looks sort of like that. Yes. What's going to happen here is up top, this comparator is going to be reading this hopper right there. And then we'll take a little bit of redstone dust and just run it down. Doot, doot. Okay, so this is going to get read like that, and then we're going to put a repeater right here. We're going to face it in that direction, like so. And then that is going to shoot into a torch. It's going to be right underneath locking this hopper, like that. To make the item filter work, I need to put some items in here. So we're going to do 4 of these, and then we're going to put a bunch of iron. This iron is going to go down to about 18, I think. And then this will end up being just enough that the torch will kick back on, which will lock this. And then what will happen is if it's a poppy, it'll just float across. But if it's iron, it will add to this stack, which again turns off the torch and lets it through. There we go. The item filter is in order. So we should only be getting iron through here now. So the next thing we need to do is take this line with all the iron and run it into the crafter. The crafter is going to be right there, I believe. So we're going to take hopper down into that, and then let's go ahead and get this guy out of the way. And then we're going to run like that. So iron comes down, runs across into crafter. I think you can place crafters in all kinds of weird ways, and so we want to make sure it is facing the direction that we want it to be. I'm going to put the crafter right there. Next thing we need to do is make the crafter do its thing. So we are going to build a weird little platform here. I'm going to go like that. Put a couple here. And let's put one here. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to measure what's in the crafter. So we're just going to take a comparator, run it into here, and then we'll put dust here and then a repeater facing into this block. That should work. And then I think from what I've read, you need to put a bunch of delay on this, so we'll do that. So comparator watches when this fills all the way up, signal will come around like this, hit this block, which will fire the crafter. But we need to make sure that it's only firing when this is full. So we're going to do some comparing with the comparator. Let's see, if we come off of here, we're going to take another comparator, and this comparator is going to be measuring a composter. See if we can fit this in here just barely. And the composter, I want this to be full. So this is taking a full signal and it's going to send it into the side of this comparator. So the signal will only come out of this comparator if it is equal to or greater than this signal. That's what a comparator does, is it compares two signals. So when this is full and this signal is full, it will let the signal through at that point. But on the way to getting full, even though the comparator can tell that there's items in there, it won't fire until everything is equal. So now I need to fill this up, and that's why I brought all these seeds. We want to get right to the top where the bone meal starts to appear, like that. Here we have a full signal, and again, when this item grid is all full, then these two signals will be the same. We'll get one fired off. I hope that made some sense. Okay, and then we've got all that bundled iron, and we want to take that and we want to put it into an array of chests. Right here is where the hoppers will be, so this is where the chests will be. Now, as you probably know, chests will try to go down before they go across. And so we're going to have a line of hoppers all the way across, and then each of these will go down into the chests. And that way it'll just fill straight up. And then once this is full, it'll go over one, fill up this row, go over one, fill up this row, etc. That like that, that like that. This one going to face over like that. So again, this will spit out its block, which will come down and go straight down until this is full, and then it'll go over one, and then we'll have another row and another row and another row. And I think that's it. We've got our iron and poppies coming in here. They're going across and then hitting an item filter. So if it's a poppy, it'll just go straight across. But if it's iron, it's allowed through. That comes down to the crafter. We've got a little circuit to put together iron blocks, which will get dispensed into here. They'll come across and end up filling up our chests. So let's say I put some iron and a few poppies and some more iron in here. We should start to see things happening here. And we see the crafter kind of doing its thing. So this should be filling with poppies. That's great. And our crafter, yep, is filling up with iron. And then once it gets to the top, it creates a block. And then hypothetically, if we go down here, we should see blocks. That is awesome. And you know, since we have the space, I think I'm just going to make these side ones double chests, and that way we could kind of maximize our storage. So the last thing I need to do is just kind of finish putting a wall in here to separate the contraption from the collection area. And that is our iron farm done. And there it is. That looks great. And it works great. I'm really impressed with this crafter block. I've not used it before. This is like the first time in survival that I've gotten to utilize it, and it's pretty cool. Just a real simple room. I might replace the torch with an actual lantern at some point. I also added a door on the back here so we can get in this side, just in case we need to do any maintenance or anything here. And yeah, it is doing its thing, so that is awesome. One thing I might do is maybe take this hopper line all the way down, and then we could just, we have a composter that would make bone meal out of these. I don't know, we'll figure it out. Right now it's just a little bit of an eyesore, but not the end of the world. That contraption pretty much fit exactly in the space we had for it. And we'll do the same thing over in the melon farm, but we'll save that for next episode. And that's where I'm going to wrap this one up. If you want to be like these folks and help support the channel, membership starts at 99 cents and it really helps me out. And thanks for watching. I hope you had fun. Please like and subscribe if you want to follow along on the adventure, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.